I've spent years believing that exercise was a punishment, a tool I would use to beat myself up for having bad eating habits or for not living up to certain fitness standards. I've used it to alter other people's perceptions of me and, in my darkest months, as a weapon to make others feel inadequate in comparison. The wounds that cause such a dysregulated relationship with the body can be so deep, and they can take years of therapy to uncover and heal. Throughout my own healing journey, I've learned that hating my body into submission results in a temporary false sense of success and confidence, but eventually I end up right back where I started. That's why at the end of last year, I decided to reframe the way I think about exercise. I wanted to see what would happen if I chose to move my body for the joy of it rather than as a punishment. I wondered, who would I be if I really practiced actually showing up for myself? What could change? So I started Move. Move is a series of yoga videos that spans a period of 30 days, and it's instructed by a wonderful woman named Adriene. You can find her on YouTube at Yoga With Adriene. She has over 10 million followers, so you've probably already heard of her. This series of videos is crafted to cater to anybody at any level, whether you're a beginner or you've been doing yoga forever. This series of videos provides a really awesome opportunity to practice showing up for yourself. I just finished day 30 yesterday, and so I am fully prepared to give you guys a real, raw review. Let's get into it. So yeah, I used to totally judge people who did yoga because I thought that yoga looked way too easy to be considered exercise. To me, if a routine didn't look like borderline torture, I would consider it a waste of my time. And yeah, I used to resent people who talked about yoga because, quite frankly, I was projecting my own unhappiness with how disconnected I was from my body onto them. So when I came across this particular 30-day yoga journey from Adriene, I watched her welcome video, and what she said in the video really inspired me to join along. In the welcome video, Adriene explains that this practice is designed to help you understand the connection between the brain and the body. Well, when I decided I wanted to reframe the way I think about exercise, it occurred to me that I need to match up the thought that I had with the way I move my body, the brain-body connection. So then the last reason I decided to join this particular program was because she mentions that it's for all levels, even beginners, which is great because I've only ever done yoga a few times, and that there's no requirement for any special equipment. So I was really fortunate to have a yoga mat already, but there was no need for any other fancy stuff, no fancy clothes, no fancy yoga blocks help, but they're not required. She also mentioned that she recommends bringing blankets, and so that definitely intrigued me because I love my blankets. So yeah, I felt like I had everything that I needed, and all I needed to do was show up. Okay, now to the juicy stuff. So I definitely benefited a lot more from this practice than I thought that I would. I definitely expected to get a little bit more flexible and a little bit stronger, but some of the things that happened in my mind and in my heart were unexpected and really beautiful. So yeah, I'm gonna get into all of that. The first noticeable thing was that my perception of yoga shifted. I used to think that it looked really, really easy, and I will tell you right now, this program definitely pushed me, and I felt challenged in a really, really good way. I didn't feel like I was working too hard, and what was really nice was that if there was any moment that I felt like, oh, this doesn't feel great, or I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, she always gives permission to just meet yourself where you are and lets you know that it's okay. Like if a certain pose isn't available to you in that moment, that's all right. Everyone's at a different level. So yeah, it was definitely challenging, and I have a newfound respect for people who can do some of the really crazy poses that I'm still not strong enough to do yet. The next thing I definitely already expected was that I was going to get a little bit more flexible and stronger. I'm really proud of myself. There was a couple of poses that I could not do at all in the beginning. I was just stiff, and my muscles felt cold and tight, and then by the end of the practice I was actually able to not only do the poses in the modified form that she provides, but I was able to do them the advanced versions towards the end. So yeah, It definitely says something about consistency and showing up every single day and how much benefit you can actually have from sticking to something. The next big benefit that I got that I wasn't expecting to get was I genuinely learned how to give myself grace and permission to be exactly where I am and not where I'm expecting I should be able to be. I felt very humbled and I felt very at peace with how strong I wasn't in some cases and how strong I was in others. It was really special being able to rest my body for a moment. Like if something started to feel a little bit too intense, I was able to give myself a break, and instead of beating myself up for it, I just remember thinking things like, it's okay, like you are allowed to take a break. It's okay, like give yourself some grace. And that's really, really new for me because I used to just push myself so hard just to a complete breaking point. And yeah, like I'm still pushing myself, but I'm doing it in a way that feels really healthy and really grounded. So that's pretty amazing. Something really special that stood out to me about this practice is she gives us a lot of vocabulary that we don't necessarily use in our everyday life. And she used it within the practice, but it was able to leak into the rest of life. So like, for example, she gave us a mantra on, I don't remember which day it was, but she gave us a mantra to repeat to ourselves whenever we needed to that said, my breath is my anchor and my anchor is my breath. I found that really, really grounding, even off the mat. Like everywhere else that I went that day and ever since that day, no matter what comes up for me, whether it's something yoga related or something completely unrelated to yoga, I found myself just reminding myself that my breath is my anchor. Like I can breathe and I can return to my body and I can feel safe here in my body no matter what is going on outside of me. And I thought that was really cool and really special. There were so many things, like each day has a theme attached to it, and I would practice ascribing that theme onto my entire day even after I had finished doing the yoga. So that was really new for me and super interesting. Another thing that was unexpected but supremely wonderful was I had many days where I just completely released so much bottled up emotion, and I gave myself permission to feel those things. A lot of our emotions are held within our body, and so when we move our body with a specific intention, a lot of those emotions can come up and we aren't expecting them to. And giving myself permission to cry if I need to and take a break and pause the video and just let something out is really powerful and really amazing. And yeah, this happened a number of times. It especially happened at the end of the practice on day 30. Actually, I think I cried 3 times during the practice on day 30, but at the very end of the practice on day 30, when I was laying down and listening to my breath, I was so proud of myself. Day 30's practice was not guided by her. She took her microphone off and she allowed us to use all of the vocabulary that she had given us over those last 29 days. And she allowed us to just find our own flow, find our own rhythm, and use our breath to guide us through a practice that feels good. And I was really curious how I would do without the guidance of her, and I surprised myself. I did not run out of things to do. I felt really confident and strong and powerful and beautiful and worth all this love that I was putting into my body and my mind. So at the end of the practice, I was laying down at the end of the practice and I just started crying because I was so proud of myself. For the first time, really learning how to show up for myself. I can honestly say now that for the first time, I have genuine trust in me that I will continue to show up for myself in a way that feels really wonderful. And it doesn't feel like punishment. It feels like love. It feels like genuine, real love for me. And I'm not doing it for any other reason. I'm not doing it for anybody else. And it just feels so powerful. The last thing that I want to mention that really shocked me was, I think it was about day 27, I noticed that my negative inner chatter was being replaced with like a lot more love and a lot more encouragement. And that was really interesting because throughout my life, whenever I exercise, I may not consciously be thinking like, you're not working hard enough, if you're not sweating, if you're not crying, if you're not like beating yourself to the ground. I just had these unconscious thoughts that if I wasn't doing it that way, then I wasn't doing it hard enough and I wasn't doing enough and I wasn't good enough. And I completely replaced all those thoughts during this practice. So whenever I felt challenged and I gave myself a break, I heard my mental chatter. It wanted to say something like, how dare you give up? How dare you, like, you have to hold this pose as long as you can. And then like my thoughts kind of interrupted that thought, and they were like, nah dude, you are good. You're good. If you need a break, take a break. It's okay. So yeah, my expectations were definitely exceeded. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. That's a short answer. Yeah, I mean, I just want to reiterate, like, this program is doable for people at any level. It doesn't matter who you are or what your background is. All you have to do is be willing to show up for yourself, and yeah. If you do decide to take on the challenge of this 30-day journey, just know that I believe in you. I really do. You can definitely do it. No matter who you are, you can do hard things. For most of my life, I didn't believe that I could do hard things, and this was hard, and I did it. And yeah, if I can, then you definitely can too. So So yeah, guys, that's it for my review. I hope this video inspired you to move your body in a way that feels really good to you. If you're curious about Yoga with Adriene, definitely check it out. I'm gonna for sure leave a link down below so that it's easy for you to find. If you do decide to check it out, please let me know in the comments down below. I really want to know about your experience. So much of Yoga with Adriene is based around community, and the comments section of her videos are very inspiring. There's so many stories of people who talk about how these videos have completely changed their lives, and I want to know about your experience. If you've tried Yoga with Adriene or any yoga at all and you've had a beautiful experience, I want to know about it. Let's have a conversation. If you leave a comment, I will be responding to comments because I truly want to have some interaction around these experiences. I think they can be really beautiful and really meaningful and special, and I want my comment section to be a space where people can talk about those things. And the last thing that I want to say is, if nobody has told you today, let me be the one to say it. You are beautiful and you deserve to feel wonderful in your body. If you struggle with your relationship with your body, just know that you are not alone, and there is a bright, beautiful light at the end of that tunnel should you choose to move towards it. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and let me know if you want to see more review type videos. This one was really fun to make. It was really special to me, and I'm so grateful to you for being here and watching it. Thank you so much. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more good vibes. I love you. Bye.